presentation of Fox Sports.
We are Fox Sports. We are MC.
Baseball comes to you from Surprise, Arizona, where we have had sunshine and big crowds one day after another. And now the Royals have only 3 more games to play in the desert, including tonight against the Chicago White Sox. And today, Alex Gordon has been signing more than souvenirs. Earlier today, the Royals announced that they have agreed to a 4-year contract, maybe even 5 years, with Alex Gordon. Hi, everyone. Welcome back to Royals Baseball on Fox Sports Kansas City. I'm Ryan Lefevre, along with Steve Fiziak and Rex Hudler. The 25-man roster is set. Opening day is a week from today with very few new faces on the field, but we have new faces in the broadcast booth. And it is my pleasure, first of all, to welcome a gentleman home, Steve Fiziak from Shawnee Mission North in Kansas State, a long broadcasting career. Welcome home, buddy.
I am delighted to come back to the ballpark, Kauffman Stadium, where I spent like 20, 30 games every single summer, cheering on the likes of Brett McRae. And now I get to talk about guys like Hosmer and Gordon. And Rex Hudler, you and I were partners 11 years in the broadcast booth out on the West Coast. But you spent 10 years in the minor leagues, 10 years in the major leagues. What's it like for these guys at spring training?
First of all, it's outstanding to be here with you guys. I'm thrilled. But as a player and most fans, it's a great time of the year. But if they come, they want to get in field shape. They want to get in condition on the field. They got to get used to their new teammates who come. But mainly for this young Royals team, Fizz, they want to show the world that they're ready to play. They're ready to break out. And they want to show themselves. They need the confidence to do it. It's time to go.
Well, guys, welcome. And your timing is good because this is one of the most anticipated seasons in the last 20 years for the Royals. A lot of anticipation before spring training began, and now one player after another signing long-term contracts. We knew this one was coming, but now it's official. Alex Gordon will be a Royal for at least 4 more years.
4 years plus 1 player option, and he said it's a 5-year deal because I want to play for Kansas City. And Rex, who wouldn't want a guy who hit .303 last year, scored 101 runs, and had 71 extra base hits?
Let's talk about his 20 outfield assists he had, man. That's outstanding. But you know what that tells his teammates? We got a bunch of guys that are getting signed and locked up here long term. Makes them feel really good about their future.
Opening day is right around the corner, 1 week from today in Anaheim. I have a radio assignment tonight, so I'm going to turn things over to these guys. You will enjoy Steve Fiziak and Rex Hudler. The first pitch from Surprise is coming up next.
Welcome back to Surprise, Arizona for Royals baseball. Tonight, Kansas City hosts the Chicago White Sox. Robin Ventura enters his first season as the White Sox manager, taking over for Ozzie Guillen, and he will have Eduardo Escobar to lead things off. He will play second base. AT KCA, the veteran, will bat second. Then Rios, Canerco, and Dunn. Ramirez, Pucadome, Vicedo, and Morel. Brent Morel will play third base and bat ninth. Sean O'Sullivan will be on the mound for the Kansas City Royals, and his pitch to Escobar is strike one. And that's exactly what Sean needs to do. He's now a veteran out of San Diego, California, and he was the Angels' third-round pick in 2005, trying to win a spot, but likely will be sent down and probably will have to clear waivers to be assigned to Omaha.
But O'Sullivan, he's going to work a little bit of a sinking fastball, four-seam, two-seamer. There's his breaking ball. He's got a little change up as well, Fizz. But you know what? Even though these players all know what their futures are with the Royals as far as this spring goes, O'Sullivan's looking for an audition right here. He wants to go out and impress all the scouts that are here, Fizz. This kid's not done. He's only 24.
Come on.
He's pitched in 10 innings in 5 games this spring and given up 15 hits and 6 runs. And as we told you, out of options, which means he is likely to be sent through waivers, which would allow another club to claim his contract, or he could clear and be sent down to Omaha, where he could get in that starting rotation, prove his wares, and be called back up later in the season.
Yeah, you know, he's a kind of guy that can add a lot. He can be a long man in the pen, do some starting. If he does that, keeps the ball on the ground, it's going to help him get outs.
Ground ball to Chris Getz, and there's one down to start the ball game. Our starting pitcher is sponsored by Kia. It is Sean O'Sullivan. Last year at Omaha went 8-2 with a 4.22 earned run average and a 5.40 ERA this spring training. You see the hits against innings pitch, and that's where he would like to come down. He has always been a command pitcher, does not have an overpowering fastball between 88 and 92 miles an hour. He's facing the veteran AT KCA, and this guy is a good hitter. 287 last year with 8 home runs and 48 RBIs, and he's having a wonderful spring with 4 home runs. Cracks that one foul.
Well, a guy like AJ hitting in that second spot where Ventura has him, he likes that. And a lot of guys that love the fastball, like he just saw there, he turned that one around, way around. You like that. You're looking for heaters and you're looking to drive him. He's got a slightly open stance, and he's saying throw it in there.
Reaches out and punches one to the first baseman, Hosmer, who gives it to O'Sullivan, covering. 2 out. The Royals defense is brought to you by Ford.
That's right. Now you look at these outfielders here, then they combined for a lot of outfield assists last year. And look at the corners here. Mike Moustakas, Moose, and Hosmer. Now Brian Pena's going to get a lot of the reps back there until young Perez can come back from that knee injury. But this will be most likely, could be the starting lineup that Ned Yost sends out there opening day against the Angels.
That young man is having an outstanding camp, both offensively and defensively. So many scouts have been wowed about his offensive exploits, and they are strong. 4.14 average, 5 home runs, but more importantly, he's running down would-be extra base hits as O'Sullivan comes up and in on Alex Rios.
Well, you know, Fizz, he's reminding a lot of people of Amos Otis back in the day, but I'll tell you what, he's got Devon White-like strides. Long strides, gets to a lot of balls in center field, and he's going to be a huge addition to the pitching staff. You know, pitching and defense wins championships, just like Whitey Herzog, my former manager with the St. Louis Cardinals and former Kansas City Royals manager, knows that's how you win, and so does Ned Yost.
The pitch is just a little bit low. Sean O'Sullivan with Kansas City last year went 2-6 with a 7.25 earned run average. Good breaking ball, check swing, and he went. And a big strikeout for Sean O'Sullivan to end the first inning. Nice job for Sean and number 1. Ned Yost likes the look of his young Kansas City Royals, who start tonight's play at 14-13. That's the 9th best mark in the American League, and this offense has been terrific. Alex Gordon will lead things off. Just signed the 4+1 year deal before the game. Lorenzo Cain will bat number 2. Then Hosmer, Butler, Francoeur, Moustakas, Pena, Getz, and Alcides Escobar. The Chicago White Sox starting pitcher is brought to you by Kia. It is 6-foot left-hander Eric Stoltz, who's having a solid spring with a 2.89 earned run average. Well, the first 4 Royals that he will face have flat been on fire this spring, starting with this guy, Alex Gordon. We told you he signed that 4-year contract before the game began. It includes 4 guaranteed years through the 2015 season, then a player option for the 2016 campaign. There's a ground ball up the middle. What a way to celebrate. Keep that batting average going up near that 400 mark.
No, congratulations to the Gordon family. I tell you, he's worked really hard, Fizz, and this is a kid, number 2 overall selection. You know, had a lot of comparisons, a lot of pressure on the kid early at third base. You know, being compared with George Brett and all the high expectations. You know, was very nice to the organization. Says, hey, look, I'll do whatever's best for the team. Move to left field, and now you're seeing a bona fide big leaguer, not quite yet in his prime. He's got a lot of nice years left, and Dayton Moore went ahead and guaranteed that Royals fans are going to love to watch this guy play for a long time.
Loves having this guy in center field with him. This is Lorenzo Cain, who pops it up foul territory. Konerko over and makes the catch. No advance by Alex Gordon. There's 1 out. But back to Alex Gordon, Rex. He said, I look at this as a 5-year deal because this is where I want to be. And then he immediately turned to Dayton Moore, who was at his left at the press conference, and said, Dayton Moore is the reason I'm going to be here because he has built this foundation, signing Perez, signing Escobar. He was very determined to sign me as well, and he believes that good things are happening in Kansas City.
Well, they are. There's no question. All you got to do is just pick up a newspaper, look at the stats in the spring. Of course, they're only spring training stats, but this guy right here, he's projected to be one of the next great hitters in the game, not just on the team or in the league.
What a spring. He has a 10-game hit streak to up that average to 418, hitting .529 the last 10 games, and he slices this one foul.
Tell you, all 4 top guys in the Royals lineup have all had excellent springs, and I believe, Fizz, they're feeding off each other. That's what happens. Good things are contagious in baseball as well as the bad, but the good in this offensive lineup is showing right away. With Gordon at the top, Lorenzo Cain batting second, turning that fastball around, and Haas getting third. There it is.
Hosmer to left center field and deep, and that ball will hit off the top of the wall. Coming around is Gordon. He is being held at third base, and Hosmer has himself a double. Oh, it has been that kind of streak that this young man has been on. And then he has a smile on his face. Says, well, things are going well. They're going well.
Well, he just has great eyes and hands. His eyes are telling his hands what to do, but I love how he stays inside of the ball. So does Kevin Seitzer. Watch a side view. Nice little flamingo leg kick. Perfect balance. Nice little stiff leg. Nice oppage off the wall, a little bit higher, and that would have been another homer for him.
He has 5 this spring to go with his major league leading 26 RBIs. Now the batter is Billy Butler. Butler hitting .400 this spring. There were some writers who were asking Eric the other day, Are you a little worried that you're so hot right now, and when the season starts you'll get cold? And he goes, I have a lot more left in my tank.
That's right. There's always a running joke when guys that are swinging the bat so well in the spring, save some for the season. But you know what? You're not going to go up to the plate and give a second or third effort. You're always trying to go up there and square the ball up. Now, you don't always have control where it's going to land, but so far for the top 4 guys here, including Billy Butler, they've been raking this spring.
Butler, outstanding spring, hitting .400, and this guy might be the best situational hitter on the team.
Right. Now, I would be surprised if he's going to pull one, although with 1 out here, Dayton Moore is going to have to you know, he's got such great inside-out swings and his hands stay in the ball. I'll be looking forward to see him shooting something to the right side. Move that runner over, too.
The ball gets away from the catcher, Przinsky. Gordon scores easily. Hosmer to third, and KC takes a 1-0 lead.
Right there, looks like Przinsky just couldn't quite get a glove on it.
Here are the four you were talking about, and look at those averages. You were talking about guys feeding off each other. As a group, they're hitting over 400.
Yeah, and you know, they're not going to stop anytime soon either. Now, sure, once the bell rings, it's you know, these pitchers are going to be pitching for real, but these guys have shown a lot of confidence this spring, and that's really a hitter's best friend.
Hosmer at third base now with one out, and they're playing the infield back. Corners are a bit halfway, but if Billy can just send the ball up the middle, he can make it a 2-0 KC lead with Francoeur waiting on deck.
You might be able to take one of those big trucks that got other players' cars on it and drive it up the middle.
There's a strike on the inside corner. Great pitch by Stultz, and Billy Butler strikes out for out number 2. And Rex, what you're talking about, as the games in Arizona come to an end, the big trucks come in and they put all the players' cars on them and drive them back to Kansas City. So when the team gets home, they can just go to the ballpark and drive home like Jeff Francoeur will be doing. And she fouls it off the left side. Let's take a look at that Chicago White Sox defense presented by Ford.
All right. There's Alexi Ramirez going to be your shortstop there. You got Rios, he's a veteran in right field, and Kusuke Fukudome's out there. You got Konerko, Przinsky. You know, this is a team the Royals are going to have to deal with this year.
The Chicago White Sox last year went 79-83, finished 16 games back of the Detroit Tigers. The Royals went 71-91. And there are many around baseball picking KC to leapfrog Chicago. And I say that because Kenny Williams, the general manager of the White Sox, even admitted we are in the rebuilding stage because guys like Mark Burley, Sergio Santos were traded in the offseason. Carlos Quentin, an outstanding outfielder, gone. The pitch. Francoeur takes upstairs. The count moves to 2 balls and 2 strikes.
Yeah, but that guy we just saw, manager of the Kansas City Royals, Ned Yost, is hoping that he can get some stability and some consistency out of his 5. Bruce Chen, Luke Hochevar, Sanchez, Mendoza, and Danny Duffy.
Big breaking ball misses high and outside. 3-2.
Frenchie right here, he's looking for a piece of cheese out over the middle, man. He wants to jump on one. 3-2, he's looking for a fastball. He wants to knock not only the runner in at third, but himself. Get one up. He hit a homer yesterday.
Chops it foul, so Stultz and Francoeur will try it again. But he has had a spring where we're seeing his leadership really emerge the last 2-3 seasons, where he is taking control of that clubhouse, and you'll see him walk over to a young athlete, Rex, and say, when the guy's had a bad day, he'll be the guy who put his arm around him and say, you'll get him tomorrow. Don't worry about this 0 for 4. Been there before. And Bruce Chen is doing that on the pitching side. A young pitcher like Danny Duffy, let's say he goes through a struggle. He'll usually talk with Bruce Chen about how you work through the troubles of baseball.
Yeah, typically, it's your veteran players that police the clubhouse. And by the looks of this clubhouse being new here, Fizz, this is a young, fresh, beautiful group of guys.
Ball 4 to Jeff Francoeur. The Royals will have runners on the corners with 2 outs in the bottom half of the first inning, and the batter will be Mike Moustakas.
You know, when you talk about that clubhouse, you walk through there, you see smiles on their faces, you see guys laughing, you know, having a good time there. They're a very loose bunch, although one of the youngest in all of baseball. The fact that they're signing all these guys up, these guys know they're good, and they know that they're going to try to do everything they can to put W's on the board this year. And Ned Yost, he's looking for wins. He's not looking to develop this year. He wants to compete and contend.
Speaking of young, Mike Moustakas, just 23 years old, will make his first big league roster coming out of spring training. Last year he was in the minor leagues. He's been an outstanding player in the minor leagues for the Royals the last few seasons after being drafted in the first round. Off-speed pitch he's way out in front of. 1-1. And he had a great final month and a half last year with 4 home runs, hitting .379. But he always has been one of those guys, if you check out his minor league past, who was slow at the beginning but wowed him in the second half. And here he swings and lifts it in the air. Shallow center field. On comes Fukudome to make the catch for the final out of the first. Royals do score a run on the wild pitch. And we will see Eric Hosmer in the field with Mike Moustakas when we come back. Is having fun at spring training. This is Steve Physiok with Rick Sadler with you in Surprise, Arizona. We bring in the third member of our broadcast team, Joel Goldberg. Joel, what do you have for us?
Well, Steve, it's been an exciting spring training for the Royals. You guys mentioned already the contract extension of Alex Gordon. That's the third contract extension that has been issued out by Dayton Moore. Earlier in camp, Alcides Escobar signing a long-term deal as Dayton trying to lock up the future. So Escobar under contract now. Same thing for fellow Venezuelan Salvador Perez. There's been a lot of buzz here in the dugout just about Gordon's deal, and a lot of buzz, guys, just about being on TV tonight. Billy Butler actually offered to do the rest of the game play-by-play. I told him we'll let him DH. We'll leave that alone. Let Steve take care of that. Alcides Escobar said, "You guys on TV tonight?" Yes. And I said, "You going to break out that Gold Glove type of defense?" Just the good stuff tonight. I'll save the real stuff for the season. And here's an interesting one. New catcher Humberto Quintero put a piece of tape up on the wall. And a couple of candies there, as you see Mike Moustakas with the nice play at third. A couple of candies or cough drops up there on the wall. And he wrote on there, 1 for Paulino, fellow Venezuelan, 1 for Jose Mijares. I said, "What's up with that?" He turned to me and he said, "Bad breath." Guys, back upstairs to you.
Well, that's just not fair, but that is a major league clubhouse. You mentioned Salvi Perez, and that has been a major story because that is one of the outstanding young catchers in the game. Injured his knee earlier in camp, out for 12 to 14 weeks, and he will be missed, Rex.
No question. You know, Steve, I really got a chance to see these guys the first week of March. And when I saw him for the first time, I was impressed with the way he stayed inside the ball. I didn't get a chance to watch him because they weren't playing games yet, but I watched him take batting practice, and that kid's got a bright future. Now, take nothing away from Brian Pena, who we're looking at right here. This kid's going to get a lot of reps along with Humberto, and it should be an interesting time, and it's an opportunity for one of these two guys to step up and make it tough. And especially make it attractive for another team that might want them, because they know that Perez is going to be the guy there.
Well, here's a big lumberjack at the plate, Adam Dunn, and he swings at an off-speed pitch thrown by Sean O'Sullivan. It does a big swing and a miss. And Paul Bunyan wants to have a bounce back year. I mean, he only hit 159 last year. He has had a good spring, 4 home runs, 13 driven in, and he pulls that one in the hole. But look at Chris Getz. He's playing him in that rover position. If it was a softball game, that's where the rover would be. Hey fans, the Major League Baseball All-Star Game is coming to Kansas City in July. Make sure you are in attendance for this once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to see the Stars play on the big stage. The best way to have priority is by purchasing either a Royals half or full season ticket plan today. Go to Royals.com/2012 for more details.
Are you kidding me? The All-Star Game's coming to the K. That's going to be outstanding, Fizz. The whole world's going to shut down and come to Missouri. It's beautiful.
I went to the first one in '73.
You were there?
I was sitting behind the National League dugout waiting for Willie Mays to come out. Bobby Bonds hit a huge home run and was the MVP that game. Here's a fly ball struck towards left field and deep but foul territory, and Alex Gordon is there to run it down. The guy who signed the 4-year deal, won a Gold Glove last year, hit over 300. We shall see Alex Gordon hitting fourth when we come back. Here in Surprise, Arizona, the Royals with a 1-0 lead over the Chicago White Sox. We head to the bottom of the second inning of play, and the bottom of the order will lead things off. It will be Brian Pena hitting 7th, then Chris Getz, then Alcides Escobar. Eric Stoltz's delivery is a fastball right down the middle, strike one. Pena having a solid camp, hitting .359. He knows it is his job to share with Humberto Quintero, and he chops one foul.
And, you know, getting to know all these guys has been a lot of fun for me. People energize me. It's really fun to meet people. They all have a story, and this kid's story is extremely interesting. When he defected from Cuba, but he's got a bright personality, big smile, and he's a happy guy. Not right now.
Great off-speed pitch thrown by Eric Stoltz. He really broke that one and strikes him out. Well, Brian and the Royals will be heading to San Diego after Arizona. There is a game on Fox Sports Kansas City next Tuesday. And then, of course, we open the season in Los Angeles. Bruce Chen on the 6th will go against likely Jared Weaver. And the Angels, everybody's picked to win the American League West, finish out at Oakland. But then guess who's coming to town? Cleveland and Detroit. The Tigers, of course, the people's pick to win the American League Central, the division the Royals are in. Here is Chris Getz. He chops one up the middle, and it's a tough play for the second baseman Escobar, and he makes it barely with Getz flying down that line.
Ooh, I don't know. I agree with Chris. I think he got by the bag a half a step, but you know what? It's spring training for the umpires as well, but this is a really nice play. anytime you got to go that way, he traveled a little, took too many steps, but I think he might have got him. That's a pretty good play. Well, look, good pick by Canerco. I don't know. I think by a gnat's eye, he was safe.
It's one thing you always see from Getz: hustle every single moment on the field. Escobar, the batter. Alcides, we told you, signed the long-term deal through 2017. The Royals with some options on that deal. Foul back with the fastball.
So the second baseman for the White Sox that made that play, Eduardo Escobar, he's going to be their utility guy. Their second baseman is going to be Gordon Beckham. But that was one heck of a play. And talking with Ventura before the game, he was really happy with this kid. Said he could play all the infield spots for him. But really, the guy I'm impressed with is the kid who's at the plate right now, Escobar. Man, he's taller than I thought he was.
I was just going to say that when I shook his hand. I said, Alcides, when I saw you on TV, I thought you were 5'10". You're like 6'1½".
You know, and I said, man, you know, can you make it the whole season? And he said, I played 150-something games last year. This year I'm gonna play them all, 162.
You like that enthusiasm?
And I love I love that. That's what you get from young players, the willingness to play every day. They have good attitudes. I'll tell you, this is a great team to manage if you're Ned Yost.
Escobar lines a single up the middle. He keeps that batting average over 300, and we will see Alex Gordon in this inning as he walks to home plate.
You know, the other thing that's impressive about Escobar offensively is the sacrifice bunts. He had 21 last year, and I tell you, in that number 9 spot, to be able to move a runner late for the top of the order to turn it over, that's impressive and very important. You got to score runs in the league to knock off those Tigers.
Here is Alex, former Golden Spikes winner, first round draft choice of the Royals back in 2005. This is a guy you never worry about his work ethic. As Ryan Lefebvre told me, sometimes you worry about him working too much. Escobar always a threat to go. Doug Sisson, the Royals' first base coach, has been working with the guys on base running, as Ned Yost would like this team to be the best base running team in the major leagues. And there is Doug, who's the first base coach, talking to Escobar. He believes that Escobar can be a 30-plus stolen base guy.
Got to have a coach that has a passion for base running, and Sisson definitely does. Had some long chats with him about that, and he likes to put pressure on defenses, and that's exactly what that does.
We have seen that a number of times this spring, Rex, where the Royal base running has forced mistakes by outfielders missing cutoff man, or the throw going wild and allowing a runner to go from first to second base. Gordon checks his swing on one that wanders outside. Count moves to 2 balls and 1 strike.
Oh, you know, sometimes it affects the pitcher. He might be a little bit too concerned about the base runner. He throws over. He goes, you know what? There's 2 outs. I don't want him to get into scoring position. And so he takes the concentration off the hitter for 1 second and leaves a cookie out over the middle. Good changeup.
2 balls, 2 strikes. We saw that the other day in Milwaukee, where a fast base runner was at first base, and Eric Hosmer got one to his liking, Rex, on a hitter's count, and I mean launched it. One of the longest home runs we've seen this spring, over the wall at Milwaukee Ballpark, over the grass berm, and over the sidewalk. It was at least 450 feet.
Well, I could like to put a tape on the one he hit off the center field wall yesterday, off the eye in the sky back there. That batter's eye went way up on the top of that thing in Tempe.
Gordon had 23 home runs last year with Kansas City. And he swings and sends this one to left field and rather deep, back at the wall, and Gordon has done it tonight. What a way to celebrate signing a 4-year deal, a single, and now a 2-run home run to the opposite field.
4th home run of the spring for Gordon. Man, he having some kind of spring. But I'll tell you that, he's got to feel so good inside coming into this game. And now to go up there relaxed, look like the big league hitter he is. Nice little leg lift. He lifts it up, just sets it down, doesn't get too far off balance, goes oppage. Nice stroke.
3-0 Kansas City. Here's Lorenzo Cain, who takes upstairs the fastball. Alex Gordon, you see him work so hard. And this past offseason, staying in Kansas City, he went to Mackin-Seitz Baseball Academy. They've got a great facility that Kevin Seitzer has in Kansas City, and he worked individually with Kevin. And you mentioned earlier that Kevin Seitzer was a great opposite field hitter. He used the entire field, and he teaches that style as well. Popped up on the infield. Ramirez will take care of it. We will talk with the skipper, Ned Yost, when we come back. In the Arizona desert, spring training 2012. Kansas City with a 3-0 lead over the Chicago White Sox. And joining us now, Ned Yost, the skipper of the Royals. And Ned, congratulations on your organization signing a terrific outfielder in Alex Gordon. I love your quote today when you said, "I've never met a player that is more focused and determined to be great as Alex is." Can you talk about the signing?
Well, we are all excited. Everybody in the organization, the clubhouse, was tremendously excited after they got the news. And Alex is the core of what we're trying to do. He's a kid that's got tremendous talent and ability. It was evident last year where in his first year he came back as a left fielder and won the Gold Glove, and really had a great year offensively, and finally got himself on track. And you know, it was just it just shows you what kind of player that he is. So we were all excited about that.
Ned, you're a lifetime baseball guy, and you've been with some really good organizations in Atlanta and Milwaukee, and there were some veterans on that team. Have you ever been around such a young, energetic, talented group like this ever?
No. You know, this is the best group of young guys that I've ever been around, and I mean total package guys that understand how to play the game. They all have approaches at the plate. They all understand the philosophy behind pitching. They're all pretty advanced in terms of playing defense. They all understand the art of base running, and they all have tremendous makeup. So it's a very fun group of guys to be around every day, because they really enjoy being around each other. And you come in the locker room, there's and I know our fans have heard it a lot, but there's a real energy inside that clubhouse of excitement, and that comes from the youth, but it also comes from the veteran players that we have that are leading and guiding these young guys. So they all have a heart for winning, and they all are very, very hungry to bring a championship to Kansas City.
Every single spring training has its challenges, and you certainly have losing Soria and losing Salvi Perez. Can you talk about Perez and where he is right now and when he'll start his therapy to come back, because he is such a hard worker?
Yeah, well, right now he's in the clubhouse. He is sitting in there doing his therapy. He's a kid that is not going to be able to do much weight bearing for the next 2 or 3 weeks on his knee, but the trainers are doing their rehab work on him very, very light every single day. And, you know, he gets in here when everybody gets here and works with the trainers for, you know, a couple hours a day, just making sure that he's maintaining his strength and getting that knee back, because he is a special, special player. I've been in this game a long time, been in the big league level since 1991, and I've never come across a young kid that has his ability and his talent to not only catch, throw, call a game. He has leadership qualities behind the plate and can swing the bat. So that was a big loss for us. But we like Brian Pena. We like Quintero that we got in the trade from Houston. So we think that we're well covered. And that's the one thing that Dayton and his staff has done so well, is that they have provided us with depth so that we can sustain these types of injuries to these key players. We can plug another player in that's going to be productive in that spot, so we don't miss out on anything.
Ned, quickly, with 2 outs, with Soria out, are you concerned with the back end of your bullpen at all?
I'm not concerned about a thing with my bullpen right now. I love my bullpen. We've got Jonathan Broxton, who is a 2-time All-Star closer. We have Greg Holland, who can do the job, and Aaron Crow. So I love my bullpen.
Ned, thank you very much for joining us, and good luck the rest of the way. Stay healthy.
Thank you, guys.
All right, that is Ned Yost, the Royal skipper. We'll be right back. Eric Hosmer, the batter. Eric Stoltz delivers, and there is a chopper right back to the mound. Eric is the first out of the 3rd inning, the bottom half of the 3rd. Let's go to Joe Goldberg.
Well, you might have noticed that Mitch Meyer made that catch in left field. That means that already the night is done for Alex Gordon. Nothing is wrong, first we'll say. maybe the first and last time you'll get taken out after a home run unless there's a walk-off. Quick night, 2 for 2. More importantly, Alex, congratulations. How exciting was today for you?
Yeah, very exciting. This is where I want to be, and Dayton and the Glass family made that happen today, and couldn't be more excited to be around this organization, around my teammates and the coaches. You know, you surround yourself with great people, and good things are going to happen. That's what's happened here.
You know, so many people say they want to stay, but it's business, it's negotiations, and you never know what's going to happen. I sensed all along that you weren't going anywhere. Local guy for the most part. How confident were you all along that you were going to stay here?
Yeah, it obviously took longer than we wanted it to. I think both sides wanted to get it done right away, but never been through it, and I guess that's how it works sometimes. And I think the whole goal for both sides was to get it done before the year started. So I think we're both happy that it's done and we can move on and look to the future. And I think the future looks good for the Royals.
All right, so you did mention today, there's maybe that deadline of when the season starts, but you said I probably would have signed something once things got going too, right?
Well, yeah, this is where I wanted to be. My family's loves it in Kansas City. I'm comfortable there. And like I said, great teammates, great coaches, best GM in baseball. So, just something that had all the positives around it. So it's where I wanted to be. I think all the people in the organization knew I wanted to stay here. So I think it was just a matter of time.
Two final things. First of all, the signing of Escobar, the signing of Perez. How much did that help too, seeing them start to lock these guys up?
Yeah, I mean we have a great thing going on here, and to see the Glass family notice that, and they noticed it last year. They were talking to us and said, we're going to keep these guys together. So I think that was just the beginning with Perez and Escobar, and we have great players here, great young players that get along and have fun, and hopefully there can be more guys to follow us, because this is a great team we have right here.
All right, finally, what's the deal? You sign a new contract, you get 2 hits, and you get to go home? How does that work?
I don't know. I guess Frenchie had some pull around here and told him to take me out. So, I'm just going to enjoy the game, watch it from the sides and cheer my team on. And it's just a great day, so I'm excited.
Congratulations. I know Royals fans really looking forward to seeing you with Kansas City for the next 4 to 5 years. Thanks, Alex.
Yeah, hopefully. Thank you.
All right, that is Alex Gordon as he has signed the new contract. Let's go back upstairs to Steve and Rex.
Thank you very much, Joel. And we just witnessed a 5-4-3 double play to end the 3rd inning. Royals still lead it 3-0 because of Gordon's home run. Sean O'Sullivan goes to work. He has retired 9 straight Chicago White Sox, and now he starts the 4th inning with a good breaking ball on the outside corner. Comes back with a fastball hit on the ground to Eric Hosmer, and he'll return to the bag, and 10 up, 10 down. Kansas City Royals spring training coverage is brought to you by Ford. We come to you from Surprise, Arizona, where Sean O'Sullivan, a 6'2", 235-pounder from San Diego, California. Rex and I had the honor of broadcasting his major league debut, and what a performance it was, Hud, as he beat the San Francisco Giants 8-1, allowing 1 run in 7 innings. And you remember the start before that in the minor leagues? He pitched a no-hitter.
Right, and so far in this one, he's doing pretty well, and I'm happy to see that for him, because right now, this outing here, he's pitching for his life, his livelihood in the game. Nice to see him keeping the ball down, and his teammates getting him a 3-run leads helped him, but he knows he's auditioning for another team, hoping somebody will claim him.
Eight and 2 with Omaha last year. Won 2 games with the big league club, but lost 6 times. Once again, he is a control pitcher. Sinker slider guy with a good off-speed pitch that he has shown tonight, but his velocity will range between 88 and 92 miles an hour with the heater. And he comes back with a breaking ball, which is struck on the ground to the second baseman, Chris Getz, who is playing in shallow right field, and Getz throws out A.J. Pierzynski for out number 2. Well, if you talk about auditions, this is a pretty good one, and there are plenty of scouts in the stands watching Sean O'Sullivan.
No question, and at the end of spring like this, there might be a few 4th and 5th starters around the league that may be hurting or could be in trouble, and they're saying we could insert this guy in there. So being out of options provides you a luxury of when they put him on waivers, somebody can claim him.
Sean won the ERA title at Rookie Level Pioneer League years ago, 2.14, and then also won the Midwest League ERA title. So he has quality.
I know Ned Yost has a couple other arms lined up to throw in this game this evening, so he probably won't let Sean O'Sullivan continue his masterful work here much longer.
There's a ground ball hit on the ground to Escobar. Long throw. Got him. Inning over. 4 perfect innings for Sean O'Sullivan. Royals lead it 3-0.
Welcome back. Ned Yost's Royals leading 3-0 here in Surprise. Joel Goldberg back in the dugout, and that was I thought you were getting a little shaving cream pie there. That was Jose Majares, and now you're going to get hammered with sunflower seeds. The guy that usually is playing the jokes, Bruce Chen, now has a bunch of guys that are going to give you a hard time.
I know, they're my teammates. We have fun and everything. but they're going to get it. As soon as we get done with this interview, they're going to get it.
It's going to come from you, not from me. I don't know what they're all talking about, but they have been having a good time over there in Spanish, so you might be able to translate for us what's going on. Or maybe we don't want to know. I'm not sure. How about for you, finding out the other day that you're going to be the opening day starter? What does it mean to you?
Well, it means a lot to me. I worked very hard in the off season. I prepared myself really well, and this organization has done a lot of stuff for me. So I want to make sure that I return the favor. They gave me a really good opportunity when nobody else wanted, and that's all I wanted to do. I want to pitch well for this organization because of all the things they have done for me and my family.
Your start the other day was interesting because you were absolutely dominant through 6 innings, and you told us afterwards that you really were throwing the fastball for the first time, put it all together, and everything worked after some rough starts.
Well, definitely. In spring training, you're trying to work on your pitches. I felt like I had to work on my changeup, my cutter, my curveball, and the last outing, I actually started letting go of my fastball, make sure that I kept the ball down, and my teammates, they play very good defense behind me, and I'm just trying to keep getting ready so I can be ready for the season.
I'll protect you if that ball's coming over here. We heard a little bit of this. You're not going to rely on me, are you?
Well, I mean, I don't know. I haven't seen you play or anything, but I'm pretty sure that you're not worried about me. You're going to protect yourself first.
I'm going to protect myself first, and that might not even happen yet. You don't want to rely.
On his every 5 days, that's the day he's serious, and he'll have to be when he faces the Angels here on opening day.
Ground ball up the middle, picked off by Ramirez. Gets his out. So are the Royals, but they still lead 3-0. Dave Island, pitching coach for KC, will be talking with him when we come back. Three 0 Kansas City. Look at Humberto Quintero. He is imitating Felipe Paulino, who is cracking up in the dugout. Joe Goldberg, they're having a lot of fun down there.
Well, the interesting thing is Humberto Quintero and Felipe Paulino are great friends, both from Venezuela, both teammates formerly in Houston. They live down the block from each other. They work out together. That was an imitation of Paulino on the mound, and then he does a big yawn that is an imitation of Jose Mijares. And I think he's done it. He's just cracking up right now. I think he's done it about 50 times, and he continues to do it. So this is a guy that's been with the team about, what, a week and a half, 2 weeks? and he is having some fun down here.
And, you know, it's spring training, Joel, and this is our first televised game back home to Kansas City. And, you know, they're not used to having a camera in there and a microphone in there and one of their guys coming on. So that's added a little excitement for these guys tonight.
And, Joel, I've got to tell you, Rex did play a lot of professional baseball, but a lot of the time he was on the bench, and he has so many splinters in his backside that you can't take Rex too close to a barbecue or he could catch on fire.
That's right. I call it on the pine for 9, and I did a lot about what Humberto's doing right now. Having fun, messing with his guys, keeping them loose. That's beautiful. And he'll be
that he just announced was a Paulino fastball.
There's a line drive to left field, but right at Mitch Meyer, who backs up to make the catch for the first out.
He's putting on a show in there.
If you've just joined us, we come to you from Surprise Stadium in Surprise, Arizona, home to the Kansas City Royals, who lead the Chicago White Sox 3-0. Alex Gordon has been the star of the game. He has scored a run and also hit a 2-run home run. But prior to that, his sweet day was a 4-year contract, 4 + 1 year player option signed by Alex Gordon earlier this afternoon. Sean O'Sullivan, meantime, has had a fantastic game as he has faced 13 batters, retired all 13. A breaking ball stays upstairs to Adam Dunn.
Well, he'll want to keep her down on this guy here. This guy, he's a big left-handed slugger.
Foul back, 1-2.
Okay, curveball, fastball. See if they can keep something down. Maybe make him chase a little bit. How about a curveball in the dirt here? But look at those numbers on O'Sullivan. There aren't any numbers, and that's a beautiful thing if you're a pitcher.
Tries to test Dunn up in the strike zone, overthrew that fastball at 91 miles an hour, but located it well. Dunn has been known to chase the high heat. Comes back and blows one right by him at 91, strikes him out.
Wow. O'Sullivan going to that gas tank and pulling out a little petrol there. That was a nice pitch there. He just went ahead and blew it by him. Nice little movement, too. He had a little hair on that pitch. You see, got it by the big lumbering Dunn. And you know what's been impressive about Dunn, looking at Dunn's numbers? You know, he'll strike out 100, 250 times, whatever. That's only his 8th strikeout this spring. That's pretty good for Dunn.
Wow. Fastball in to Alexi Ramirez, 30 years old, out of Cuba. Chicago has admitted they are in a rebuilding stage. Robin Ventura is the new skipper for Ozzie Guillen. Their rotation should be Danks, Peavy, Floyd, Umber, and Sale. The 1-1, a little bit low, and that was the changeup. And there is Robin, who was an outstanding hitter both at Oklahoma State and for the White Sox.
We got Alex Gordon was a Golden Spikes, and so was that guy.
And Robin has some Royal connections. He lives in the same area as Danny Duffy and knows Danny's parents pretty well. He really believes that Danny has a great future as a part of the Royals rotation, and Danny likely will be the 5th starter this year. Fastball up and in, and that is the first base runner of the ball game. It comes with 2 outs. Ramirez walks. So 4 2/3 innings of perfect baseball by Sean O'Sullivan.
This little knee turn is what they call that. You see some hitters that have a leg kick where they lift it up. They call that a flamingo kick. They have guys that toe tap. That means toe. Everything's for timing as a hitter. And Alexi had a little knee turn in. It's a little knee turn, they call that. But everyone's different. Everyone has their own unique style of getting ready. But by the time that ball's on the way, everybody's hands are in the same hitting position. Now, Fukudome, he's a Japanese player, and most every Japanese player has a flamingo kick, and some of them are higher leg kicks than others. Looks like Fukudome is not really that large.
Rex, you played in Japan. Why do so many Japanese hitters have that flamingo style kick?
Because they all are taught the same way, and they all do it the same way.
Is it because of Sadaharu Oh, who is the greatest hitter of all time?
Originally, he started it, and they're taught in their culture. There are no individuals. Everyone's the same.
Ground ball, second base, knocks it down, picks it up, has plenty of time to throw out Fukudome. We are through 4.5, and Chris Getz heading to that dugout. Chicago has a new pitcher trailing 3-0. It will be Brian Bruni, a 6'2" right-hander out of Astoria, Oregon. His record 2-1 with a sharp 0.73 earned run average. And we're now joined by the new Kansas City pitching coach, Dave Eiland. And Dave, I wanted to ask you a general question about pitching, but Sean O'Sullivan is throwing so well. I first got to ask you about how well the right-hander's doing, who's starting for you tonight.
Well, he did very well. That was his last inning. He's out. We're going to take him to 60, 65 pitches. He finished with 61, and so that's going to be it for him tonight. But he was good. You know, he mixed his pitches well, kept the ball down for the most part, and threw just inside enough to keep the hitters uncomfortable. So it was a good night for him.
Dave, you've been around a long time as a great pitching coach, and you've enjoyed your time as a pitcher yourself. Coming over with the Kansas City Royals, what has impressed you the most about their starting pitching and their bullpen?
It's just the quality of arms, you know, as a whole. You know, quality. You know, a lot of good power arms, and there's a good mix of guys that are you know, command guys as well. But it's a really good mix. It's the most talented group I've ever been around in all the places that I've been. So it's a very exciting time for me to be here, and a very exciting time for this organization.
Now, Bruce Chinn, he's been a little bit of a project for you this spring, and he's getting the opening day nod. What are some of the things that you've been working on with Bruce?
Well, Bruce was just kind of feeling his way around. He's a veteran guy that's been around for quite some time. He knows what he needs to do, but he kind of had it on cruise control for a little bit too long there. So this last start, we amped him up a little bit, wanted him to get out in front, let the ball go a little bit, use his four-seam fastball a little bit more on the inside part of the plate, and elevate a little bit. It was just going to open up the outside part of the plate for his off-speed pitches, which is his strength.
Dave, last year, the Kansas City Royals led the American League in most walks, and that went down, particularly the guys who will make the big club. What are some of the things that your teaching style has helped?
Well, I don't know if it's helped or not. That remains to be seen. But, you know, we don't talk about the guys they walked last year. We just talk about throwing quality strikes. Strike one, getting ahead in the count, and pitching in favorable counts. And if you can do that, especially with the talent that these guys have, we're going to have success. So we're talking about positive things. We're talking about quality strikes down in the zone, working ahead in the count. And if you can do that, you know, you're going to have success.
And what is your pitching philosophy, Dave?
My pitching philosophy? Well, I mean, it's simple. It's just pitching 101. It's getting strike one, working ahead in the count, and never letting the hitter get comfortable. Hud, you played for a long time with guys, buzzing you inside part of the plate. You're not going to be too comfortable diving out over there. So we talk about that a lot. We talk about repeating our delivery. If you can repeat your delivery, you're going to command the baseball, and if you can command the baseball, you're going to win.
What you're talking about, getting strike one, controlling the count, sounds like Luis Mendoza this spring. Can you talk about his evolution, what you hope to see from that right-hander?
Well, just hope to see, continuing the season, what he's done here. I mean, he does everything you want a starting pitcher to do. He gets ahead in the count, commands his fastball to both sides of the plate with movement, with good sink, throws his secondary pitches over for strikes behind in the count, gets a lot of ground balls, works fast, controls the running game, and fields his position. I don't know if there's anything else that you would want out of a pitcher, and that's what Mindy's been doing, and we expect him to take it right into the season.
Super Dave, how about the back end of the bullpen? What can the fans expect out of Broxton and Holland?
You expect some power. You can expect swing and miss stuff. I wouldn't trade the back end of our bullpen for any bullpen in baseball. I sincerely mean that. We like our mix down there. Brox is going to bring some veteran stability down there. Unfortunately, we lost Soria, which is a big blow. But we're not going to worry about what we don't have. We're going to concern ourselves with what we do have, and we're very comfortable with what we have down there.
Dave, I was talking to an opposing scout at a spring training game just earlier this week, and he said Greg Holland, he believed, has closer stuff. He has closer makeup. He just doesn't have closing experience. Your thoughts on Greg?
Well, yeah, he does have closer stuff, and there's only one way to get experience, and that's to throw the guy out there in those situations. But we haven't decided on that, but I'm sure he's going to get some opportunities to close out games. But, we really haven't decided that. It might be a thing where we mix and match, where he's available one night and Brox is available another night, and you can kind of throw Aaron Crow in that mix, too. But we really haven't settled on one, but we have options down there, and we're comfortable with Brox and Holly and even Crow if need be.
Dave, more on that bullpen. The one surprise that I thought was Kelvin Herrera making the club. I just thought he's a very young pitcher. I knew you'd want to give him responsible situations. Can you tell me the role that he will fit, because he has a marvelous future?
Well, he's going to be a guy, that's going to be, middle to the latter part innings, 6th, 7th innings. But he's a guy that has, some power stuff. He has a power changeup where he can get a lot of swing and misses, and that neutralizes left-handers. He's been throwing the ball very well for us, too. His command is coming around is what we wanted to see, and we're excited about him, too. He's got as much power as anybody we have down there. So, again, another young, talented power arm.
And there is Kelvin Herrera warming up in that Royals bullpen. We likely will see him a little later in the ball game.
Hey, Super Dave, what do you take these young guys in the video room? Do you break down video of them? And if you do, what do you show them? The good pitches, the way they want to do it, or do you show them the not so good?
Well, we show them both. We show them, the deliveries and when they're executing pitches, and then we also show them their deliveries when they're not executing pitches, and we just show them that when they're not executing, so they get the visual of what the good ones look like and what the not so good ones look like. So then they go out and they feel it. Once they can start feeling themselves getting a little off, and they can make in-game adjustments and adjust by themselves, without me having to run out there and tell them, that's when we have it. But yeah, we watch video on a daily basis. We really watch a lot of it early in camp, and then that's going to be an ongoing thing. I don't think you can teach and coach in this game without video, and it plays a big part in what we do.
Right now, the Royals with a 3-0 lead. They have 2 on with nobody out, and Lorenzo Cain is coming to the plate. And Dave, maybe you can give us a little illustration of a good batter, because I know some pitchers who have really helped out batters. Lorenzo Cain, from your style, from a pitcher's point of view, could you give us a scouting report on Lorenzo?
Well, I'll tell you what, this guy swings the bat a lot better than I thought he was going to. Coming out here, last month, he's shown some great power, but he covers both sides of the plate, and I haven't seen him miss many mistakes this spring. So he's having a heck of a spring, and I look forward to watching him this year when we get started for real.
Dave, what do you think about Luke Hoshaver this spring?
Well, I think Luke is wow, there's one right there.
That is hit pretty well, left center field, and it will be off the wall. In comes one. They will hold Meyer at third base. KC takes a 4-0 lead on a booming double by Lorenzo Cain. And Dave, that's what you're talking about, his plate coverage and his power.
Yeah, I mean he's another impressive young player here for us. So what can you say other than he's been phenomenal this spring.
Keep scoring those runs for your pitching staff. That's what you'll say. I know that.
Absolutely.
Hey, tell us about Hochevar. How's he look?
Well, he looks great. He's right where he needs to be. He's ready to open the season. I think Luke is ready to take that next step from being a good major league pitcher to one of the elite. And early on in camp, I challenged him to do that. So he's ready to go. He's he's a 200-plus inning guy, we feel. He's got 4 pitches. He's driving the ball downhill. One of the main priorities was him to get his changeup going this spring, and he has. Not only has he worked on it, but he's used it effectively, and he's got all those other pitches going, too, so he's right where he needs to be.
There is Hosmer with a line drive base hit to left field. 2 will score, and the Royals push their lead to 6-0 over Chicago.
Just 2 more ribbies. Dave, you came over here, you knew that there was a lot of really good arms in this bullpen and on the starting staff. Who has impressed you the most?
Oh, gosh. Well, of course, Mendoza kind of jumps out at you because he's kind of come out of nowhere. A guy that's been around a little while, bounced around the minor leagues. And, I know Texas gave up on him a couple of years ago, and he came over here, and I know our AAA pitching coach, Doug Henry, did a phenomenal job with him, straightening out his delivery a little bit and getting him back on track. And he's kind of jumped out at me. Danny Duffy, for me, has got some of the best stuff I've seen in my years around this league the last 5 years. So I think he's a star in the making. There's going to be some speed bumps along the way with him as far as his command, but as far as raw stuff and arm strength, he's as good as it gets.
We are visiting with the Royals' new pitching coach, Dave Island, and the Royals the last 3 years have been ranked the #1 minor league organization in baseball. And Dave, do you have an opportunity to work with some of the young guys who Royal fans have not seen yet, like the Jake Odorizzi's or the Mike Montgomerys? Can you tell us about their stuff and their future? Again,
you're throwing some names out there, some very, very impressive young arms. The Odorizzi's, Montgomerys, Dwyers, Smiths. And I know I'm going to miss somebody because there's so many of them. But the scouting department, has done a tremendous job, obviously, in drafting these players. The player development department has picked it up from there, and they're developing these guys, and they're knocking on the door to the big league. So again, it's an exciting time for this organization, and I couldn't be happier to be a part of it.
6 left-handers and 6 right-handers balance out your staff so far. Dave, that's a pretty good balance. How are you going to find time for all those guys? A lot of mix and matches for Ned?
Oh yeah, well, over 162 games, you'll find plenty of time for all of them. But it's, it is a good mix. We like it, and how we feel about our left-handers down, not only in the rotation, obviously, but down there in the bullpen with Collins, mostly Collins, and even Maharis to a certain extent. They got pitches to neutralize right-handers and get right-handers out, but. It's a great mix. You throw Anthony Tieford in there, who has the ability has a lot of pitchability, has the ability to get righties and lefties out as well. So, like I said, we couldn't be more comfortable going into the season than we are right now.
Dave, one final question, and then we'll let you go. It's about Jonathan Sanchez. He was acquired from Melky Cabrera, terrific player last year. Jonathan, early in camp, was getting his arm strength back, but the last 3 starts, including a minor league start, really looked sharp. As Billy Butler really looked sharp with a gapper to right center field, and Hosmer off to the races. He will score easily. Kansas City goes in front 7-0. Wow. And Dave, you're seeing a lot of offense right now, but if we could get your thoughts on Jonathan Sanchez, the way he is throwing now, and his ability to get a lot of swings and misses.
Absolutely. I mean, the ball comes out of his hand very, very nice. I mean, it's a beautiful thing to watch where the ball comes out of his hand. But we just want to get him down in the zone. He's a guy that typically pitches up in the zone, but we're trying to get him down in the zone more consistently, and then go up in the zone on command when he needs to go up there. But his breaking ball is getting sharper. He has a split that he feels comfortable throwing it at any time. 3-2, 3-1, runners on third base. It doesn't matter. And he started slowly but surely trying to get his arm strength back. And he's another veteran guy that knows what he needs to do. And he had a real good outing in a minor league game yesterday. So we're feeling really good about him going into next weekend as well.
Dave, thank you very much for all the time you've given us, and please keep those guys healthy.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.
Super Dave.
That is Dave Island, and he's got a big smile on his face because Dave and Rex Hudler came up together in the Yankee organization.
Yeah, nah, he's not quite as old as I am, but you know, once a Yankee, most of the time, always a Yankee.
Unless, of course, you're a Royal.
Well,
who can't stand those Yankees.
No.
Man, I grew up in the 70s when the Yanks were knocking off KC and postseason, and you go, we've got to get to them. And finally, Brett and the guys knocked him out.
I got to tell you, though, Willie Randolph, he was in the second base spot ahead of me, and when I was up there, he told me, be careful for those Kansas City Royals. There's two guys on that team that'll end your career. They'll break your legs like pencils. And I went, really? Who's that? That's Hal McRae and George Brett. Be careful, young man. If you're ever out there and they're on first base, you better know they're there.
They are going to break up a double play.
That's how Ned's got this young team playing. This team's running the bases hard. They're playing hard.
Mike Moustakas, the batter. He is 0 for 2 with a pop-up and flyout. Fouled off.
You know, Fizz, that's the only way you play the game. You know, you don't get a long time in your career to play it. Some guys play longer than others. But there's one thing, and Ned Yost can tell you, that if you go hard, pedal to the metal, and you respect the game of baseball, it will respect you. You'll get love back, and people will remember you for how you played. And that's a big compliment.
Bernie throws that fastball by Moustakas.
You know, in talking about Ned Yost, he addressed all of his 200 minor league players out there a couple weeks ago. I say about a week ago. He addressed them. He let them know where he came from, the baseball experience that he had as a high school kid, junior high school. He went all the way on up the line at junior college. It was very impressive. He spent 20 minutes sharing his life with those minor leaguers, and I was listening, and it was interesting.
Moustakas pops up. Butler remains at second base, and we've got to tell our Royal fans, check out the 13-game pack. It's your best chance to save big over box office pricing. Catch some Royals baseball this summer with your friends, family, or co-workers. Plans start as low as $75, and as an added bonus, all 13-game packs include a complimentary Major League Baseball All-Star Fan Fest ticket for each seat purchased. Go to Royals.com/13 or call 1-800-6-ROYALS to order your 13-game pack today. Speaking of 13, April 13th, Friday the 13th is the home opener against the Cleveland Indians. And right now, Luke Hochevar, who Dave Eiland was talking about, is slated to start that home opener. It is our time.
And that 13-game package includes that Fan Fest. That's a lot of fun. There was the All-Star game out in Los Angeles in 2010, and it was fun to be a part of that whole thing. I took my kids because we lived out there, and because I wanted them to have a memory of going to an All-Star game just like you did back at the Kansas City Royals' first All-Star game. So, folks, look, what an honor it is to have that game come to your town and especially to the K. Kansas City. It's going to be rocking this summer. Jump on that 13-game package.
Brian Pena takes a fastball just below the letters for a strike. Not sure if he agreed with that. Brian Pena, he is the guy penciled in along with Quintero to take over for Salvi Perez, and what a delightful heart. He told me the other day, he said, I am just there until he comes back. I know how good Perez is going to be, and I want to help him get there. Terrific teammate. Fly ball struck towards the line, taken down him. And Chicago will head to the dugout, trailing Kansas City 7-0.
Royals up 7-0 over the White Sox as Sean O'Sullivan's night ends, so we can now say with a no-hitter, at least up until this point. Kelvin Herrera is the new pitcher and one of the new members of the rotation. Maybe not new, but new for the first time, at least to open the season. Danny Duffy joining us right now in the dugout. How excited were you when you found out that you'd be on the opening day roster and in the rotation?
Yeah, I was pumped. It's a great opportunity to be a part of something. It's going to be really special this year. And, maybe the numbers weren't there, but I feel like, my stuff right now is just really working for me, and, it's going to translate into the season.
Dave Island was just telling our guys upstairs and our audience that you've got some of the best raw stuff that he has ever seen. We saw you earlier in camp just dominate the Cincinnati Reds, guys like Joey Votto and Scott Rowland. What have you learned here in spring?
I've just learned that I need to be more consistent, in my delivery. I don't feel like, really with my pitches I've been inconsistent, my location and all that. But maybe just, stay back a little bit more, keep that ball, on a downward plane, and, I think that's going to be the key.
All right, well, we just had your new pitching coach talking about you. How about some thoughts on your new pitching coach?
Oh, he knows the game. I've been sitting out there, for the last 5 innings every time we're on the mound, and the way he just kind of pieces apart the game is pretty incredible. He knows a lot about it, and it's going to be really cool to work with them for years to come.
I've noticed one thing about you here, and I've known you probably 4 years or so, since you were 19 years old, and you were the rookie last year, kind of kept your mouth shut. But I've seen you having a lot of fun in that clubhouse. Any chance you get to stand behind someone doing an interview and make a face or whatever it might be, you're having a good time. How much more comfortable are you right now?
I don't feel like I'm entitled to anything. I feel like I have to earn everything I do, but it is nice to kind of, get with the guys here and not feel like I'm, stepping on glass with wide eyes when I'm talking. And, it's cool to be able to kind of fool around and be a part of the team, and I'm just having a great time.
Did I see you have some cowboy boots that you were throwing on Twitter today? What's going on with a California kid and Southern California kid?
Dude, I don't know. Tiford's he's molding me, man. I don't know. I saw a pair, tried them on, they were comfortable, and that was that. What can I say?
All right, last thing, you mentioned this on Twitter, so I want to read it. Just before the game, you wrote on Twitter, "Congrats to my dude Gordo. 5 years of pitching, knowing that I've got Alex Gordon in the outfield. Great feeling." Now, don't laugh about the dude part. That's your lingo. You're from California, but tell me about the Alex Gordon move.
I think it's great. He deserves everything he gets. Really hard worker, one of the hardest workers I've ever seen. And, I really look up to the guy, and it's just really cool to know that he's going to be behind me in the outfield every time I'm pitching. It's just awesome how much hard work pays off, and you just saw it today,
Well, congratulations on making the opening day roster, the rotation. I'd ask you about the Lakers, but the guys upstairs in the booth aren't Lakers fans, so we'll have to save that for another day.
Yeah, we'll have to work on that for sure.
All right, thanks, Danny.
All right, thank you.
All right, that is Danny Duffy. And, guys, I can tell you when he gets his first start in Oakland, not too far from his hometown of Lompoc, California. I think all of Lompoc will be there. They were there in the past. They'll show up again in Oakland to watch Danny pitch. Guys?
Joel, you can tell Danny that I am still a Kansas City Omaha Kings fan with Tiny Archibald. There is a shot to the gap, and Kelvin Herrera will give up a two-base hit. We'll lead things off by Diane Vicato.
That Duffy kid, I like him. He used a couple words that were pretty interesting. He said he didn't feel entitled. That's a word that a lot of these young players believe that goes with them, that they're entitled a job. You got to work your way. He used the word work, and he referred to Alex Gordon. That's exactly what it takes in this job in baseball. Now, it took me 10 years to break north with a team. This kid, he's going good, but by the time I broke north and when I got there, I was fortunate enough to stick for the next 10. But I'll tell you, this kid's fresh. I like him. I can't wait to watch his arm. I've seen him throw on the side, and I've been watching him a little bit this spring. Kid Duffy's going to be a really solid left-hander.
Well, you only had 6 years in Class A ball, and I think he only had one. Did you see his numbers in the minor leagues? Rex, Danny Duffy struck out 407 batters in only 305 innings.
Pretty impressive. They tell me he's got a live arm.
When I first saw Danny pitch, I said, he reminds me of a left-hander for the Texas Rangers, young Derek Holland. When Derek Holland came up, he would get 0-2, and then he'd start fiddling around. And then he'd lose the batter. It'd be 3-2, and then he'd walk the guy, and then he wouldn't be able to finish off an inning. Well, perhaps Danny Duffy went through that last year when he went 4-8 with a 5.64 earned run average in 20 starts, but man, does he have the stuff. He is watching Kelvin Herrera, who is a new addition, it looks like, to the bullpen.
He's got a nice fastball, occasional curve, and a nice changeup he'll use.
Ground ball hit to left field. That's a base hit. Cato will stop at third base. Runners on the corners.
See, they got a big O'Sullivan out of there. They got a guy that was really dealing out, and then they get a new fresh arm, and they're like, okay, we're going to get this guy.
It looks like Kelvin is just getting that ball up. When he is really good, it's around the knees. He has a tremendous changeup with late sink, maybe the best in the Royals minor league system.
Everything that sets that up, and Dave will tell you, is the fastball. You've got to be able to set up your off-speed pitches and get that fastball over. Hit it over and not in the middle like it was the last two hitters. White Sox are looking for something early.
Good fastball on the outside corner at 98 miles an hour.
That's the first good fastball out of the two batters that he's faced we've seen. That was awesome right there. Wow.
Eduardo Escobar, the batter, and he swings and sends one off the pitcher right to Hosmer, who comes home and throws it wildly to the backstop, allowing a run to score. So that's not like Eric Hosmer. I thought, quite frankly, Rex, that he would take the baseball and with a 7-run lead come back to the bag and get at least one.
I think so too, but you know, that ball ricocheted off the pitcher. Hopefully his ankle's okay, but I think Hosmer was a little bit surprised. He goes, I'll get the guy. He was off balance, didn't have a good balance, and almost nailed Dave Island, the pitching coach, who was sitting there. He had to do a ballet act to get out of the way of it. Now let's hope that Kelvin's okay. That was a good changeup that he threw. And the hitter stayed down with it and hit it right off his ankle.
So Ned Yost and the trainer out talking with Kelvin Herrera. Rex, I wanted to ask you what Herrera might be going through as Nick Kenny tends to Herrera. Here's a guy who's just 22 years old. He may have come into camp, as we'll take a look at this shot off of his ankle.
Yeah, it hit off the outside of his right ankle, his landing ankle. And Hosmer just threw that one away.
They're going to have Herrera throw. But Rex, my question to you, because you've been in that situation before, 22 years old, going into camp, really not expecting to break camp with the big league club, and all of a sudden you wow the coaches, and there you are, and you're 1 week away from making it to the major leagues. Your heart might be pumping a little faster. What is that like, that anxiety?
You know, you're still a little nervous. There's still about 3 or 4 games to go in camp, and you know, you really can't believe it yet. That you can't believe it until you're on that opening day roster. So really, he's telling himself right now, look, I'm still trying to pitch for a job until they tell me, and I go on that roster, and that roster's there, and they announce that opening day roster. Now I get full coverage for my family for a year on the health insurance. I mean, I get a certain salary. I mean, there's a lot of pressure for a young player trying to make that roster for the first time in his career. And I'm glad he's okay.
Eric Morrison is the new pinch runner, and there's a flare to left field, and Mitch Meyer lays out and makes a fantastic catch. Tagging at third and coming home is Morrison.
There's your 4th outfielder right there, a guy who loves to play the game. Like his style, like exactly how he timed this. He got a great first step on it, heading towards the line. That ball's hooking. It's hooking down there towards the pole. Full out belly flop. Got a little grass stain on him. Feels kind of good.
How valuable is Mitch Meyer, a young man who can play all 3 outfield positions that well?
And can come off the bench with some thunder from the left side.
A strike now to Alex Rios, who is 0 for 2. Strikeout and ground out. Meyer likely will be joined by Jason Bourgeois as the extra outfielders behind Gordon, Kane, and Francoeur. This ball struck to second. Gets it to Escobar for one. On to first. They get the double play. Herrera does give up 2 in the 6th. But the Royals still lead it 7-2. Royals with a lot of crooked numbers up there. A run in the first, 2 in the second, 4 in the 5th. They have a 7-2 lead over the Chicago White Sox. Brian Bruni stays in the game, and he will pitch to Chris Getz, who is 0 for 2, robbed of a hit his first time up, and tries to check his swing and an outstanding changeup for strike 1.
A lot of folks were a little bit surprised when Johnny Giavitelli got sent down, but I'm going to tell you, though, that Johnny needs a little bit of work on that defense. Now, he's a very solid player and going to be a great player at some particular time. Kansas City Royals have told everyone, we want to win. We need to win. We got a veteran guy in Chris Getz here. Got a little more range, a little more speed. Maybe not quite the hitter, but I'd like to show you, folks, that up the middle double play combination they just turned. That's a nice base hit. Short, quick swing. Let's check out the double play. This is going to be your keystone combination for a lot of the season. Okay, nice first man, sure. Second man, be quick. Drags his foot across Escobar. Escobar with a lightning quick arm, jumped up. This is nice, folks. This is called ham and eggs and roll them over. That's 2. Pitcher's best friend. Got to have that all season to win a championship. There he is right there. One of your second basemen along with Yuniesky Betancourt.
Gets very good speed, stole 21 bags last year. Now he will watch as Escobar. And this is a great thing that Ned Yost loves lineup situations, and he has speed at the bottom of the order with Getz hitting 8th and Escobar hitting 9th.
And Alex Gordon, who is a run producer, hitting in the leadoff spot. So when you turn the lineup over and a couple of those 8 and 9 guys get on base, and here comes Alex Gordon. Now Alex doesn't turn into an on-base guy. He turns into a run producer.
Gordon with 87 RBIs last year, and you can see what Escobar has done tonight. 2 solid singles, 1 to center, 1 to right. He scored twice. Getz does not go, and Alcides with a rip on a 90-mile-an-hour fastball fouls it back to the screen.
Now, Fizz, this team finished 20 games under 500 last year, but they finished strong. In the month of September, they were 5 games over 500. Many guys were coming on. They were finishing strong. That's the mark of a big leaguer. Not how you start, how you finish. So they're building off of that this spring, having a good spring. Outside of the 3 injuries that they've had, they've got some good depth. Dayton Moore supplied them with.
There's a rope to right center field. Running it down is the right fielder Rios. Gets back to first base.
But this team right here has some excellent potential for this season. Now you have to think that way if you're a player. You can't say, "Oh, we're gonna have a better team next year." It's all about right now. And if you ask Ned Yost, he'll tell you, we want to win our division. We want to go to the playoffs and win a World Series. And that's what their slogan is now. Our time. It's our time now.
Mitch Meyer, the batter, and he takes an off-speed pitch for strike 1. But Royal fans must be patient with the team's success this year, because a lot of these young men who won championships at Class A ball, then AA, then AAA last year, 3 of the last 4 years they have won minor league championships, now are in the big leagues. Because of all the teams in baseball, they still have the youngest starting lineup in baseball. With Salvi Perez, if you pencil him in as the catcher, their average age of their starters is 25. I mean, in the American League Central alone, the Chicago White Sox starting lineup, their average age is 30. The Detroit Tigers average starting lineup age is 29. The Cleveland Indians 28. And then the Royals at 25. They're younger if Giovatelli comes back.
And he will. It's tough to crack a squad, especially a championship caliber squad. Now, this team is not a championship caliber squad yet. But let these position players grow, let them develop, let them get a full year of experience, and maybe and hopefully for the Royals fans, that the pitching staff will come together. They'll find 2 or 3 guys, be consistent, and put together some good years and challenge somebody towards the end. That's got to be the hope for the entire fan base. But it's going to be some exciting baseball. The way they're swinging the bat and squaring up that baseball.
Mitch Meyer swings and misses. But Rex, when you talk about youth coming along, and everywhere they've been, they have won. They have won championships. They have won rings at single A, double A, and earlier this month, Lorenzo Cain was able to receive an Omaha AAA championship ring.
You know what was impressive was that all of the big leaguers were there watching them get the AAA rings.
2008, 2010, 2011, Class A, Class AA, and winning does rub off. All of a sudden you know how to do it. You know the anger you feel when your team is behind, what you have to do to get back in a game, to get back in a month.
And this guy right here is going to be right in the middle of it. Lorenzo Cain.
He wears number 6, which in my opinion is the greatest center fielder in Royal history, and that would be Willie Wilson. And Willie, very proud. I talked to him the other day. He's very proud that Lorenzo Cain is wearing his number, because Willie believes in the young man at the plate.
He loves the fastball. So Ned Yost is pretty much figured on batting him in that second slot, right behind Alex Gordon, which is a good spot for a guy who loves to turn a fastball around.
And Bruni threw him a good breaking ball that last time, and sent it foul off the right side. Cain 1 for 3 tonight. The double that just barely missed leaving the yard, hit high off the wall.
Give him an upright stance, has a little bit of wiggle with the bat. Hold his head there. That's a good fastball though.
Bruni strikes out the last 2 that he faces, both Meyer and Cain, and we head to the 7th inning.
Hi, everybody. I'm Rob Riggle. I'm going to be around today. I hope I don't bother you too much. But I'll be talking to you guys a little later. All right. Where's my locker? Where's my jockstrap?
Rob Riggle, actor, comedian. He's part of The Daily Show. He's got a movie out, 21 Jump Street. And he came out for batting practice, took some fly balls, shagged some balls, and just had a delightful time with George Brett. Rob Riggle treated the guys to a sneak preview of his movie 21 Jump Street. Tim Collins had a chance to see that premiere, and what a spring training Tim has had, an 0.96 ERA. What Dave Island likes the most is the number of walks. 1 walk to 10 strikeouts, because that was Collins' Achilles heel last year. 48 walks in just 67 innings.
These young guys know what they have to do to be successful at this level and to help the Royals win a championship, and that is throw strikes, throw on that downhill plane, get that balance over the slab, over the rubber, and stay on top and stay down. This kid's got a nice fastball, 4 and 2-seam fastball. You see Konerko there. He's got a curveball. It's his second best pitch. There it was right there. Got a nice little change up, and what Dave Island has been doing with him is trying to make some adjustment, making that curveball a little bit tighter, making a little bit tighter break on it. And so far, you mentioned lack of walks. It's been working.
He's getting that curveball up to the Chicago White Sox, and that is dangerous when you're facing a guy like Paul Konerko, who has tremendous power. Paul hit 31 home runs last year, drove in 105.
Make him chase. Head in the count 1 and 2.
He did, and he went with the off-speed pitch at 84 miles an hour. Tim Collins strikes out a pretty good hitter in Paul Konerko. Let's go to Joel Goldberg, who's with a couple of new Royals.
Yeah, Jason Bourgeois and Humberto Quintero, and I know you're getting ready to go into the game soon, but welcome to Kansas City. I've been in the action for a couple of weeks here now. What are your impressions, Jason?
Man, it's a great ball club. You know, the atmosphere in the clubhouse has been great. It's been a winning atmosphere. You know, come from where we came from, it's a little bit different. I'm loving it already.
Well, we've seen you steal a base every single chance that you get, so that's definitely been a great addition speed-wise. And what we've seen at the beginning of the broadcast so far from Humberto is a sense of humor. How often do you like to do that, have the guys laughing?
Every day, man. I'm always happy. No matter what we're going to lose, I'm always happy. You know, I'm happy to be here, and there's a good group of guys, you know, that I feel happy about it.
That routine that you were doing, the imitation impression of Felipe Paulino, your good friend, and Jose Mijares, it's one of the funniest things I think we've ever seen at spring training.
Yeah, we're joking around all the time, man, you know. But I think Mijares get mad a little bit, so we had to cut him off a little bit.
You had to cut him off because he was mad at you. Jason, you've seen this act, I guess, before. How much does he keep the clubhouse loose?
Man, he's a veteran guy, so he's good at that. He's always keeping everybody loose, talking, and, you know, these guys having a lot of fun in the clubhouse today, and here on the bench, it's been great.
All right, I've got to ask you, Humberto, because there is a picture. It's a little confusing. There's a picture of Fred Flintstone hanging above your clubhouse, but your nickname is Barney, like Barney Rubble. And Trevor Hoffman nicknamed you that, but they have Fred Flintstone above your locker.
Yeah, I think Paulino got the wrong name. It's supposed to be Barney Rebel, but you know, I'm happy. Yeah, I enjoy it. He can put whatever he wants in my locker. I'm gonna be happy.
But I think you told me that the first time that you got that nickname, you looked up at the scoreboard in San Diego, and you heard what?
Yeah, San Diego. I hear Jabba Dabba Doo and look in the scoreboard, and I see the car and everything. But you know, I enjoy it, man. I'm happy, always happy, and I'm happy to be here.
And putting a smile on your face. You've always got a smile too, Jason.
Always, man. You know, when you relax and you just playing this game, it's the better. And Q, he does a great job of keeping me loose.
All right, so it's Barney Rubble with the Fred Flintstone picture. He said that Paulino, by the way, is Fred Flintstone since he's bigger, and this is Barney Rubble. By the way, guys, both had a coach that we're familiar with last year, Jamie Quirk in Houston, spoke very highly of them. We're going to enjoy seeing them throughout the year. Let's go back upstairs to Fizz and Hud.
Jamie Quirk, name from the past, a great Royal in the 1970s. Terrific guy who caught a lot of games. Here's Alexi Ramirez, and he'll take low. And I think The Royals did a great job when they scouted and traded for guys not only who are talented, but with character.
They had to get a couple pieces that work to the puzzle for this championship caliber team. That's what they're hoping that it is. But they've got an extra backup catcher in Humberto, a veteran guy who can provide a little bit of comfort for the young guys that are tight. When they see that smile, and they see a guy saying, hey, look, let's enjoy ourselves. We're enjoying playing baseball. Win or lose, he said he has a smile. And believe me, that works wonders in a 162-game season.
Tim Collins looking really sharp as he struck out two very powerful big league sluggers in Paul Konerko and Adam Dunn, and now has Ramirez with a 3-1 count, getting that last fastball across. Ramirez solid season last year with 15 home runs and 70 RBIs. Fastball chopped towards third. Moustakas has it. His throw and plenty of time. A 1-2-3 seventh inning for Tim Collins.
Wow, he looks good.
(7-2) Royals on top of the White Sox here in beautiful Surprise as we get ready for the bottom of the seventh inning, and Lorenzo Cain's night is over, unless I guess you guys bat around. Hey, Alcides Escobar is here. A couple former Brewers. We didn't even know you were in here. That's it. He doesn't even want to talk right now. Let's talk. He says now Royals. Lorenzo Cain now a Royal, now the starting center fielder for the Royals. What's been the biggest key to your very, very impressive spring training?
Just being a little more relaxed at the plate. Just staying on my approach. Line drive hitter. Like I say, just more relaxed this year. Just trying to stay consistent at the plate. So that's been the main focus right now.
I know Kevin Seitzer was telling me the other day that he's talking. He only says things a couple times to you about staying up the middle, don't get pull happy, and it sounds like you've really embraced that.
Most definitely. Because I can get pull happy at times, but like I said, I'm just trying to focus on staying in the middle of the field. Just line drives, staying consistent right there, and like I say, just continue to carry this thing into the season.
Steve was talking up in the booth about another guy that wore number 6, one of the great Royals of all time, and a guy that can play phenomenal defense out in center field and steal some bases, and Willie Wilson, and maybe carrying on some of that tradition now.
Most definitely. I'm going to try to get out there and get it done. Make some plays out there, defensively for my pitchers, and like I say, try to swing the bat a little bit too. So overall, I'm just trying to get it done, and like I say, win a lot of ball games.
You talked about being more comfortable. How different is it in year 2? 1, knowing that this is probably going to be your job, and 2, knowing that you're not the new guy in the organization anymore.
It's definitely a year later. Kind of pressed a little bit last year, but this year I came in more relaxed, and like I say, just knowing it's my job right now. Still can't take anything for granted. I'm trying to just take advantage of all my opportunities right now. So, like I say, getting it done this season is the most part right now. Main focus right now.
Bottle some of that up, take it with you to Anaheim, and
Kansas City Royals.
There you go. There's Alcides Escobar, who does have much more English in his repertoire than just Kansas City Royals. I think we caught him off guard there a little bit because he didn't know he was going to be talking. Best of luck in 2012. We're looking forward to it.
All right. Thanks for having me.
All right. That is Lorenzo Cain. You guys know it. He has been on an absolute tear all Cactus League season long.
Thank you very much, Joel. And Jamie Romack will now pinch run for Eric Hosmer, who comes out after his 4th at bat.
That's Low Kane. He likes that. I asked him if he had a nickname or anybody say, do they have any names that he liked? And I said, do you like Low Kane? He goes, yeah, I've heard Low Kane before, for Lorenzo Kane. But the guy he was talking about, Willie Wilson, when I was a young player, I've never seen a guy go from first to third better than Willie Wilson. Maybe Willie McGee for the Cardinals, but those two guys were the greatest, and it was unbelievable to see how much ground they could cover in a short period of time.
Willie has been in camp, instructing some of the outfielders, encouraging with some of the stars from the past, guys like George Brett, Willie Wilson, and even a guy employed by the Royals, and one of the coaches, Kevin Seitzer. There's a ball struck to the right side, and Billy Butler is 2 for 4 with a single and a double and RBI. So Billy is out. Romack back at first base, 1 down. The batter will be Jeff Francoeur as the Royals. Ned Yost trying to get his starters 4 at bats and then get them out of the game. He knows they have a long grind in front of them,
but it's keeping them sharp. And Billy Butler, he hit that on the screws. Nice inside out stroke. That's his second opposite field shot of the night.
Francoeur has walked, grounded into a double play, and grounded out to third. Foul back. Hey fans, come out to the ballpark on Saturday, April 21st for a chance to get a giveaway that is a blast from the past. The first 20,000 fans will receive a Royals retro batting practice jersey presented by Fox Sports Kansas City as the Royals take on the Toronto Blue Jays at 6:10. For tickets, go to royals.com/promotions or call 1-800-6-ROYALS. Francoeur flies out to deep right field, 2 gone in the 7th inning. Mike Moustakas likely will get his final at bat of the evening. He has flied out 3 times, once to center and twice to right field. One of the things that you'll see from a guy who might be a slow starter is playing in some minor league games, and what Ned Yost did last week was he had Mike play on 2 different fields, 2 different minor league games, and it was kind of funny because I wanted to watch Jonathan Sanchez throw, but Mike would line out on one field, grab his gear, run over to the next field, and he got 8 at bats in that one day.
Yeah, and that's a period of about an hour and a half too. That's a great way to get a guy some at bats when you have fields that are such a beautiful complex here in Surprise where they're all bunched up together. You can go from one field across to the next field and you lead off the next inning. It's really a fun thing. I mean, normally you got to wait 30 minutes, sometimes 15, 20. It depends on the rally of the guys for you to hit around in a regular game. But when you do something like that, that's really strange. You're not used to that. I did that a few times in my career, and it was fun to do that, but I was gassed, especially after hitting a gapper. Then you run, and the next time, hey, you're up over there on the other field.
Moustakas with an opposite field shot. That's down the line. He will reach second base with a 2-out double. Romack stops at third base.
There you go, Moose. That's a nice stroke there. Opposite field, took a high fastball and just flipped it out there to left field. That'll put him on the board tonight.
Now Moustakas will see a pinch runner come on for him, and Mario Lisson will take over.
It's a way to end it with a knock. Go home and sleep on that one and come back tomorrow. But for these young guys now coming into the game, Fizz, this is a big time for them. This might be the only chance they get to impress somebody, scouting the stands, or even get on a big league field all year. Their heart's racing, some of these guys. Now, Brian Piñas is always racing, but I'm talking about the 2 guys that are on base now.
Runners on second and third.
Another thing about Pena is you can switch hit. Both sides of the plate. That's a plus.
Got jammed with the fastball. The count is 1 ball, 1 strike. He will share that catching role with Berto Quintero until Salvi Perez comes back, hopefully before the All-Star break. There is a shot towards the third baseman who bobbles the baseball. His throw still in time to catch Pena, and the 7th inning is over. Royals take a 7-2 lead over Chicago to the 8th. Steve Physiak, Rex Hudler, Joe Goldberg with you at Surprise Stadium. Aaron Crow will be on the mound. He has a 5 ERA. Pitched in 9 innings this spring. The hits are good, but the walks, 6 walks to 8 strikeouts have to concern him a little bit, but he has terrific stuff. We've had a big game from Eric Hosmer.
Love the fact that both of those swings that he's had, including this next one here, were opposite field. That was high off the wall, almost went deep. This one line shot, 2 more stakes add on to hit that total. He's had a great spring.
Now has 28 RBIs. Let's go to Joe Goldberg.
Just unbelievable numbers. Lorenzo Cain right now is at 403. Haas is at 429. How dialed in do you feel right now?
I feel good. You know, it's good to turn it up here the last week. Get good momentum going into the season, but you know, everyone's swinging hot bats right now, so it's good for us on this road trip. Good momentum.
Is everyone officially at that point where they are ready to get out of here?
Yeah. You know, guys are chomping at the bit, and you know, we had that fun last night or yesterday over in Tempe playing against the Angels, and you know, everyone's just real excited to get the season going and you know, see what happens.
All right, we were talking off camera, and it was pointed out, you know, when you're perfect, not a lot of bad things happen. You didn't say that, by the way. So I don't know that I've ever seen you make a throw like this before. What happened, and what were you trying to do to your pitching coach?
Maybe a little too aggressive right there, but you know, the throw got away from me, and Dave had showed great athleticism and getting out of the way there, and just something that wasn't supposed to happen like that. But you know, Dave showed great athleticism getting out of the way right there.
All right, we'll take a look at it. Here we go. Take us through it.
I just, you know, came up firing, and you know, I threw the ball before I looked up. But you know, let's see if we can get a good look at Dave jumping up out of the way. That was a great jump on his part.
I mean, you scared him. You know, he's focusing on pitching, and there, you know, plus nobody expects that from you. So, all right, get it out of the system in spring training. What has the clubhouse been like? We've been talking about just the excitement, the optimism, the energy in that clubhouse. What's it been like?
It's been a great atmosphere. You know, it's the guys have been, you know, nice and loose, and everyone's just getting their work done, but at the same time keeping it light and keeping it a good atmosphere for us out here. And you know, that's what the net and the staff's all about, is keeping it a good atmosphere. But you know, when it's time to get work done, it's time to get work done. So everyone realizes what they have to get done and what they have to do to get ready for the season.
And I'm pretty sure that there aren't any contract talks or announcements regarding you, or maybe there is. But when you see Alex Gordon sign and Salvador Perez sign and Alcides Escobar sign, what does that mean?
You just couldn't be happier for those guys. You know, those are three guys that come in and work hard each and every day. And you know, seeing Gordo get his deal today was awesome for everybody. And there's not one guy in that locker room that, you know, that everyone's in there just real happy for him. To see a guy who comes to the field and never sits down in his locker. You know, he's constantly working and constantly striving to his goal. And, you know, you see that as a teammate, and it makes you want to work that much harder. So couldn't be happier for those guys. And, you know, I'm glad those guys got their deals done. And now we can worry about the season and just worry about winning ball games.
There's a few people in Kansas City that would like to see a couple more of you sign too. Maybe that is down the road. But for now, have a great 2012. Looking forward to it.
Thanks, guys. Thanks for having me.
All right, that is Eric Hosmer, the star first baseman, and the very, very, very rare off throw from him. I don't think we'll see that again this year. Guys, let's go upstairs to you.
Thank you very much, Joel. And Aaron Crow on the hill. He struck out the first battery face. Now faces Mikado.
Crow's got a little life on that fastball. He'll go mid to upper 90s.
Represented the Royals in the All-Star game last year. Had a fantastic first half. Some say he tired in the second half. But everybody has to make adjustments. The hitters adjusted to Aaron in that second half, and now he must make the adjustments back.
97. Good curve, slider, changeup. Look at that. Late life on that, and I don't know where that missed.
Inside, and it is 1 on with 1 out. He has walked 7 in this spring training.
Tell you, Hosmer's interview was fresh again. Here's a kid who has a business-like approach. I liked what I was hearing from him. When young kids talk, veteran players listen, and they'll pick out a couple words.
Defensive changes for the Royals. Jamie Romack did stay in the game to play first base. Ray Navarro is now at second base. Christian Colon is at short, and Mario Lisson is at third base. The outfield goes Jason Bourgeois in left, Mitch Meyer in center, and Alex Llanos in right.
Beautiful evening here in Surprise, Arizona. Nice, perfect weather. I'll tell you, having trained in Florida and having trained out here, Fizz, there's a big difference. It's very predictable, the weather in Arizona. It's dry, nice light air. Offensive players get carry on their ball. Pitchers don't care for it too much, but offensive players love it. Florida, the wind blows in all the time. It's blowing hard. It's sweaty. It's very humid there. It's a whole different training climate. Both of them are good, though. Here, you sweat, but it evaporates pretty quickly, and you need to make sure that you drink a lot of water here because you can be deceived since you don't sweat like you do in Florida.
For years, the Royals played in Fort Myers. There's a good fastball, a swing and a miss by Escobar. Crow strikes out 2 in the inning, and we head to the bottom of the 8th. The Royals holding a 5-run lead. Kansas City with a 7-2 lead over the Chicago White Sox. Our next telecast will be on Tuesday against San Diego, and we will have the Royals season preview, which airs Tuesday at 8:30 Central Time, just before that Royals Padres game, and it will be hosted by Joel Goldberg. He will have a one-on-one interview with General Manager Dayton Moore, and a lot of things to talk about, as Moore has signed Alcides Escobar, Salvi Perez, and today Alex Gordon. The left fielder signed a 4-year +1 to the player's option, which Alex Gordon immediately said, I look at it as a 5-year deal because this is where I want to be, in Kansas City, and he believes in the future of this organization.
Steve, you can only lose so many years, and then you start to win again. It's a process. It's a turnover time. And I think Kansas City Royals are watching that right now, and here's one of your newest players right here.
This is Jason Bourgeois to lead things off. It's a little breaking ball thrown by Todd Jones, the new pitcher. Excuse me, Nate Jones, the new pitcher, a 6'5" right-hander out of Covington, Kentucky.
What I like about Bourgeois coming over from Houston is the fact that he can pinch run. He's got really good speed. He's explosive. He hits a little bit too, but you need that off the bench. He can play any outfield position. He's got good speed. He can hang in center. You can spot start him, but he can pinch run off the bench. So another good piece that Ned Yost and Dayton Moore added to enhance their team. And you know what? You're only as good as your extra players, and they've got some good backups.
Well, he has a favorable count here at 3 balls and no strikes. And Rex, he had an unbelievable stolen base to games played ratio. He takes ball 4, so we may get an opportunity to see his speed here in the bottom of the 8th inning. He had 31 stolen bases in 94 games. Well, guess who's with Aaron Crow, who pitched a terrific 8th inning? It's Joel Goldberg.
All right, Fizz, thank you very much. Aaron, great job out there. For you, what has the spring been like, coming in possibly as a starter, switching back over to the bullpen? How did that affect your preparation and the way you went about your business?
I didn't really worry about what my role was going to be. I just went out and tried to get guys out on a consistent basis, and it's been up and down this spring, but I feel good going into the season, and I hope I pitch like today I did for the rest of the season. Dave Island was saying that he wouldn't trade this bullpen in for anyone, even without Joakim Soria out there. How loaded does it feel like this bullpen is? It's awesome. Even without Jack, we're missing a huge piece of the puzzle, but I still think we have plenty of guys down there that can get the job done, and just really looking forward to getting the season underway. I know all of you were really upset and felt bad for Soria because he's really kind of like a big brother to all of you. How tough was that just to see him go through the injury and now out for the year? That hurt for him too, just as much as everybody else on this team does too, because he's a great teammate and he's one of the best pitchers in all of baseball. So it's a huge loss on the field and in the clubhouse, but we just got to band together and replace him, and there's a few guys that are capable of doing that. How about for your year 2 now? You had that first year rookie experience out of the way and an all-star appearance. What was that like for you to be able to go to the all-star game and to be able to have that experience? It was a lot of fun. Last year was definitely a highlight of my life so far, so just really looking forward to getting the season underway and hoping to duplicate the success that I had last year. Some of the guys have talked about how they're more comfortable year 2. How much does that help you too? It should, having the confidence knowing you can get big league hitters out is huge. So all the guys that did it last year know they can come in and do it again this year and hopefully be better. All right, I won't get you in trouble, but I know who you're not rooting for this weekend, right? Louisville all the way. That's who I got. Well, the very esteemed PR director, communications vice president, who's a KU guy, is standing right next to us laughing. I'll let you guys argue about that one. Aaron, best of luck in 2012. Thanks, Joel. Appreciate it. All right, that is Aaron Crow. He of the Mizzou fame. Hey, he can't help it if he went to Mizzou and played baseball there, grew up in Kansas. Those are his feelings. Fizz, you know how that goes, right?
You bet I do. I mean, I had 2 members of my family go to Kansas, and 3 of them, including myself, went to Kansas State. So I'm pulling for the Jayhawks tomorrow in a big way. I'll be watching that game at my brother's house. Jayhawks will be taking on Ohio State, and Louisville will be facing Kentucky in the Final 4 of the NCAA championship. Nate Jones having a little bit of a problem with his command, and he has walked the first 2 batters he's faced, Bourgeois and former Royals first-round pick Christian Colon, who's now playing shortstop. Mitch Meyer will be the batter.
Can I tell you what I thought of that young man's interview there?
Yes, sir.
I'll tell you what I liked. I like the fact that the kid doesn't care what role he plays in the bullpen. I just want to get guys out. There's another unselfish young pitcher that wants to do what's best for the team. We keep hearing him. We've heard him all night. I'm impressed with him. And also, last year he said it was one of the highlights of his life. That's impressive what he did, making an all-star team. But the stuff he's got, Fizz, he's got a lot of highlights ahead, that young man.
3 power arms at the back end of the Royals bullpen this year in Jonathan Broxton, Aaron Crow, and Greg Holland. And then you throw in Kelvin Herrera, who we saw earlier tonight touch 98 miles an hour. He did get roughed up a bit, but you could tell that his heart was pounding a little faster as the word is out that Herrera likely will make the bullpen. But he doesn't know that yet. Ned Yost hasn't said that yet. It's just an assumption made by the media, us included, that Herrera could. You always say head north with the team. In this case, it'll be to the northeast, first to the west.
Well, that kid they just showed there hiding behind that post, that's Holland. He's a lock with that arm he's got. Can't wait to watch him come in and throw some darts.
You have to like his mentality, the way he carries himself in camp, the way he gets his work done. I was watching him on the side with Dave Island the other day. Great changeup and a strikeout of Mitch Meyer. That's the first out of the bottom of the 8th inning. These are all things that you'll see in spring training, and hope always springs eternal in spring training around baseball, where everybody's in first place.
That's right. But that's the one time of the year that fans, players on teams can all believe that they're going to win a championship. And I'm about 13 years removed from my playing days, but at the end of my career I was with the Philadelphia Phillies, and we didn't do much. We weren't the Phillies of today. But going into spring training, every guy on that team believed they were going to win a championship, and that's what you believe this time of the year.
I remember when you went to that Phillies organization, Terry Francona was trying to build it at that time, and they had young guys who were not ready yet. A guy like Scott Rowland, who would eventually win a world championship. There's Ray Navarro, and sometimes you have to go through those grinded out days to find the glory times. But I do like the plan, even as an outsider, before you and I were signed as the broadcasters, of the job that Dayton Moore was doing, the way he saw it in a small market for success. They have been able to go out and sign tremendous Latin talent from Venezuela, from the Dominican Republic, from Cuba, and also draft top athletes in the Major League Baseball draft in June. Ray Navarro takes a fastball on the inside corner at 98 miles an hour and strikes out. Fans, subscribe to MLB.TV Premium today and watch with no blackouts in every regular season game live or on demand on your favorite devices. MLB.TV Premium now includes a free subscription to At Bat 12. Watch every out-of-market game live on the phone, iPad, and select Android phones and tablets. Visit Royals.com for details. Jamie Romack steps to the plate. Good power season at Double-A last year, 23 home runs.
He's got some pop, and he's a corner guy. Plays a little bit of first base. He can catch some. And he told me the other day that they're going to let him go to San Diego and Lake Elsinore and their final little tour there of the end of spring training. And that's always nice. They think a lot of you if they invite you on the rest of the way.
Strike that catches the outside corner. Nate Jones walked the first 2 batters, then struck out the next 2. Count 1-2. Eric Hosmer got the start at first base and had another terrific game as he's batting over .530 in the last 11 game streak that he has been on. 15 RBIs in that 11 game hit streak. The count even, 2-2 to Jamie Romack. Line drive right to the third baseman for the final out of the 8th. When we come back, we'll see Greg Holland come out of that bullpen to throw the 9th inning for the Royals. Greg Holland will get an opportunity to finish this ball game in the 9th inning, and we may see him in the 9th inning a lot this year. He has a .519 earned run average, was outstanding early in camp, roughed up a little late, but still you've got to like the strikeouts to walks, 12 over 1. And Greg Holland at 5'11", 180 pounds, he can reach 95, 96, 97 miles an hour. Another power arm that Dave Island will be pulling out of that pen.
They just keep coming and coming out of this Royals bullpen. I like to call them scud throwers. I mean, they throw hard. And this kid here, what makes him so special, Steve, is he's not just a 1-2 pitch pitcher. He's got a fastball above average, slider, curve, and an outstanding split finger. He's got 4 pitches. Most closers just go with 2. So he's going to have he's going to throw some fits to some hitters late in games, trying to close down some games for Royals. Really, all he needs is his fastball splitty.
The 0-1 is swung on and fouled off by A.J. Pierzynski. He went from 91 on his fastball and then reared back and delivered at 94. I likened him a little bit to his size and also his 4-pitch repertoire to former Royal and also part of our broadcast team, Jeff Montgomery. And I was talking to Jeff about that the other day, and he agreed. There's a fastball that's coming upstairs, and Pierzynski sends it down the line, fielded by Romack, gets it to Holland in time, and there is 1 out.
Nice play by Romack. Way to go. Man, that ball was by him down the line. Look, he just kind of took a stab at it. He waved his glove out there and said, hey, look what I found. And there it was. Nice play. Look at Holland. He was over there in plenty of time. Well, I tell you, that's the importance of defense. Even with Pierzynski, not a fast runner, that would have been a leadoff double. Good play.
1 down for Alex Rios. And it's good for Holland to see big leaguers like Pierzynski, Rios, and then Konerko. He's facing their best 2, 3, 4 hitters. Fastball upstairs, ball 1.
I was talking to a couple hitters earlier this spring about the Kansas City Royals bullpen, and some of the guys that have faced these guys last year said they got hard throwing guys that just keep coming and coming. They keep opening that door out of the bullpen. There are no soft tossing bullpen guys out there. Now they might have a situational left-hander like Jose Majerus, you know, but may not be a flamethrower like that. But you know, most of these guys all have power arms coming out of the Royals bullpen. This is a team that will not be taken lightly by any other team in the AL and NL.
There are some forecasters picking the Royals as high as 2nd or 3rd in the American League Central. Ground ball struck to 3rd. Leeson, 2 outs.
Well, you know, this time of year, all these quote-unquote forecasters all put in their predictions, but you can't predict a baseball season that's performed between the lines 162 games. Unlike any other sport in the world, it is a mental grind, and you can't predict what's going to happen. Whose horses are going to go down, who's going to sustain the injury. Really what it is who has the most depth, who has the best AAA, who has the best nuts and bolts of the organization. And that's what I mean, your minor league system. That's your nuts and bolts.
Paul Konerko with a drive to center field, but it stays up for Mitch Meyer, and Greg Holland with a 1-2-3 ninth. Dave Island, Ned Yost with a handshake all the way around. The Royals win it by a final of 7-2, and they push the record to 15-13 on this spring training. We'll come